My name is Charlie McGrath. I'm the founder of WideAwakeNews.com and a host on the Rinse Radio Network. Today, Breitbart's big government website had a piece by Mike Flynn talking about the death, announcing the death of the Occupy movement. To back his story, he played a video, attached a video, of Nancy Pelosi sitting there denouncing the Occupy, or at least trying to distance herself from the Occupy movement. Now, a lot of us in alternative media said a long time ago that the Democrats were going to be sorry if they had tried to attach their brand onto the Occupy movement. We stated this for a simple reason. We believe that it wasn't created by the Democrats. It isn't a left-wing organization. What it's created from is what happens when a government becomes completely and totally corrupt and becomes in bed with special interests such as Wall Street financiers. It's the same kind of outrage we see around the world when governments are so corrupt. You have people taking to the streets demanding change, and when they feel they don't get their representation in their representative government, they go to the streets. So this is what we see with the Occupy movement. We see people, 4 years now of 1 million plus people being foreclosed on, 4 years now of incredible unemployment numbers that are skewed because of things like participation rate manipulation. But when you have last week alone 144,000 people falling off the long-term unemployment rolls, becoming non-persons, it's easy to see where the energy of the Occupy movement comes from. It isn't because Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama decided to sit down and create an organization that would counter the Tea Party. Now, I've said before in videos, the Tea Party was an organic event. I was part of the first marches under George W. Bush. We weren't out there talking about neocon agenda like you see a lot of the so-called Tea Party members talk about now. We were talking about ending the foreign wars, ending the security industrial complex, stopping out-of-control government spending, bringing our troops home, and a more constitutional-based government. Now you see Occupy start, and not as a forward-looking event like the Tea Party was. You see what happens when you reach a climax between the corruption between Wall Street and Washington, D.C. People are disenfranchised, and they don't know what else to do. We see this time again around the world. When a corrupt, out-of-control government no longer represents the people eventually will end up in the streets. And what will the representatives do? They will try to paint them as anything but being patriotic. They're out there destroying things. We need to arrest them. We need to tear gas them, rubber bullet them. And the whole time, they'll sit there and denounce this movement that they tried to own a few weeks or a few months back. Now, one thing that's really telling in this video that I'll attach to mine is where Nancy Pelosi's at when she's trying to distance herself from the Occupy movement. She's sitting in front of a Bank of America billboard, a sponsor of this event she was speaking at. And isn't it ironic that Bank of America, who can be directly, in one way, blamed for the Occupy movement, hundreds of billions of dollars they've received, either in direct money from the Federal Reserve or in zero-interest loans or in kind of favorable guarantees from the federal government to cover their failure, to make whole their failure, and shift it to the back of the American people, seeing our announced national debt rising from around $8 trillion in 2007 to pushing $16 trillion as of today. We see Bank of America being made whole and complete on the backs of the people of this country. So at the end of the day, you're always going to have a politician who's out there claiming to be on the side of the people, but we need to understand who supports them, because it doesn't matter if it's Mitt Romney, Newt Gingrich, Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, Barack Obama, they're all going to be sitting in front of the Bank of America sign. Stories are attached. That's all I got.